I'm sorry that we're only able to gather virtually as we celebrate our work together over the past year. Let's all hope that next year we can be together in person. I want to start by thanking our staff for all they've done over the past 2 years. I know your work has been exhausting. As we continue to make progress with vaccines and treatments, I'm hopeful that we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. The time you have given of yourselves is what has gotten us through the many challenging days we have endured as a community and a city. When we faced the worst of the staffing shortages, RNs from across the hospital moved to our critical care and medical surgical units so those units could still operate. When patient loads increased, clinicians and staff from our whole health system stepped into acute care to help us meet the unprecedented needs of our patients. And our general, cardiac, and thoracic surgeons staffed a new team to help the influx of COVID patients breathe, performing countless tracheotomies. Everyone helped in some way. Everyone. And many went above and beyond their job descriptions. You saved many lives and weathered each surge with grace. I'm incredibly proud of the work all of you have done. I want to thank our donors who have provided us with the support we needed to overcome the pandemic's challenges and keep moving important science forward. Thanks to your contributions, we've made extraordinary progress on several groundbreaking diagnostic tests and therapies that will be life-changing for patients. Over the past year alone, we formed 7 new companies, were granted 115 new patents, and filed another 357, an incredible number. Our leading immunology group is testing a COVID vaccine that will be able to adapt to new variants as they emerge. That vaccine already stands apart from all of the currently approved vaccines. And our vaccine structure makes it possible to manufacture it at a low cost, and it can be stored at normal refrigeration temperatures. These features mean that low and middle income countries will be able to manufacture the vaccines themselves and distribute them successfully. Our vaccine can also be administered nasally to create mucosal immunity, a type of immunity that none of the currently approved vaccines provide. Consequently, we believe it will substantially increase protection from infection and transmission. These developments come on the heels of our successful COVID testing program. We were one of the first to develop a COVID diagnostic test, and we quickly partnered with organizations across New York City to make them available. Now we're working with public and charter schools and the MTA to identify outbreaks. This groundbreaking, life-saving work is much to be proud of, but it comes on top of our breakthrough accomplishments over the past 5 years in cancer, diabetes, and conditions that affect the brain and the heart. We've discovered blood biomarkers for early diagnosis of certain cancers, shown how certain cells and genes affect Alzheimer's disease, and developed an artificial pancreas to help diabetes patients manage their insulin intake. These discoveries and innovations will improve countless patient lives, and your generosity is part of what makes them possible. As we continue forward, we're honored as always to have such a great group of friends, supporters, and team members. Thank you all for what we have collectively made possible.
Mount Sinai Health System provides world-class healthcare, care that in some cases can be only had at Mount Sinai.
So good to see you.
Our skilled physicians apply their deep knowledge and extensive training to solve the most complex health problems, bringing cutting-edge treatments into daily application. They are determined to find answers for their patients and their families, and do so in a compassionate way. They have an unrelenting drive to find a way to heal all of our patients.
Mount Sinai's great medicine relies upon brilliant scientists and clinicians, the best and the brightest, who are dedicated to solving the mysteries of disease, healing patients, and educating the next generation. of physicians and scientists. Our researchers work side by side with our physicians to find answers to the most challenging questions of science and medicine, and their collaborative work translates to the development of new therapies for our patients. Mount Sinai professionals have demonstrated incredible resilience and courage in the face of adversity. They boldly believe that they can find a way, and indeed, they come here to Mount Sinai because we do find a way.
The story starts here in San Antonio. It started out Christmas of 2018, and I had a cold. And everyone said, oh, you just have a cold, you got bronchitis, you'll be fine. And I wasn't fine.
The memory of that time, and to me it's still going, is always really close to the surface. We were married 6 months.
The running joke in our family is that she should have got the extended warranty. We had a very different outlook for how our marriage and our family life was gonna be. The doctor came back and said, we think you have cancer. And that's when our jaws dropped, our hearts broke in half, and we started our journey. The cancer is just below my vocal cords, but just above my trachea. It's on the area called the cricoid cartilage. It's the foundation for your voice box. It's like a foundation on a house, where the house being your voice apparatus. And the foundation is where the cancer was. I am the medical director for the San Antonio Fire Department.
Engine 41, respond with other units, making fall.
I am the doctor that's responsible for the medical care for 1.6 million people on the worst day of their life. I can't imagine what my life would be without a voice. I couldn't teach, I couldn't see patients. It would literally kill me. We looked at a lot of different hospital systems. There was only one place that had the services that could restore my voice and restore me to health and get my cancer out. And that was at Mount Sinai.
The tumor had taken over the bottom portion of his voice box. And he comes to me and says, well, will you do this surgery on me?
Dr. Corey said, I've done 4 of these types of cancers before. They're really tricky, but I think I can save your voice box and your voice. It's a complicated surgery.
I said, well, if we try, I can't guarantee that we're going to preserve everything. And he said, I know, but this is my chance. This is my time. What we did to reconstruct the bottom part of David's voice box is we took a rib for its solid structure, but the rib is so large that if I put it into the voice box without a blood supply, it would die. So to prevent that, we take some vascularized tissue, the fascia from David's thigh. In this particular area, the fascia has its own blood supply. We can use the blood supply from the fascia to support the rib. I had been thinking about doing this for about 15 years.
He's told me I needed to do something better. I needed to come up with something better. My patients deserve better, more than one option, and he did it.
We're not doing the standard of care. We're being innovative. We're trying to do something better than the standard. The reward for my patients is that there are now 8 of them out there living with voice and airway without a tracheostomy.
My voice is actually better than expected. I can talk to patients, even through a mask. I can work in the ER, I can work in the field. I actually have some range. I can go up and down, and I can talk with pretty good volume. Hey, what's going on, man? What's up? Good to see you.
His dedication and his want to live to return to what he did before that he loved. And Mark gave him that.
I can do this here at Mount Sinai because I don't like accepting the status quo. I am allowed the opportunity to think about new solutions to common problems or rare problems.
This looks great. So,
Oh, good. Couple more years, that incision will fade into the neck crease, okay?
The best thing I really want for my patients is for them to forget the trauma they went through. Maybe a couple years later they see a scar on their neck and they remember, oh yeah, there was that doctor. What was his name? Who helped me with this problem?
We have a lifetime, I hope. This experience illustrated how unexpected life is, how things just come up. We just keep moving forward.
my voice isn't perfect, right? I can't sing, I can't play the trumpet anymore, but you know what? I'm doing pretty good. Besides, it's kind of sexy. I sound like Batman, right? I'm a classic example of what can happen when the miracle happens, where I got a second chance on doing good things in the world.
It takes a small village to have a successful heart transplantation, especially in babies.
No one team member can do this alone.
I'm the medical director of the Pediatric Heart Transplant Program. As pediatricians, really, we take these journeys with our children.
I was with Jason from the time he got admitted into Mount Sinai until the time he got his transplant.
As much as the focus is the patient and as much as the focus is Jason and wanting him to get a heart, how can I as a social worker support the parents to kind of put their best foot forward and be that presence and support for their child?
My specialty is congenital cardiac surgery, so anybody who's born with an abnormal heart, with a defect in their heart, I operate on them. My goal was to get Jason to that point, to get a heart transplant. Jason was born early of 2021 and pretty normal kid when he was born, but pretty soon after, his parents noticed that he was having trouble.
He had what's called a dilated cardiomyopathy, and his heart was easily twice the size of it should have been for someone his size. He just wasn't eating and growing. He was failing to thrive.
When Jason arrived, he was in severe heart failure. The best thing we can do for survival is to get him a new heart.
We listed him for a transplant, and he waited.
Throughout the time when Jason was admitted, I would meet with Mark and Verinia every single day. They previously had home a healthy child, and then coming here and taking this crash course in what an ICU looks like, I was that constant person to talk about these stressors that they were facing, help them advocate for things that they would need, and really be that sounding board.
If they needed a hug, we were there to provide that for them. If they needed to talk, we were there to provide that for them. You truly want the best for them, as if they were your own family member.
Mount Sinai is the right decision for a little boy like Jason. When you think about the United States, there are only 50 to 75 pediatric heart transplant programs in the entire country.
Jason is one of the few of the smallest patients that I've transplanted. The heart of newborn baby is the size of a strawberry, and so if you can imagine, there are blood vessels connecting to this heart, and so we have to rejoin these small blood vessels to one another to perform the heart transplantation. And so it's a pretty complex operation since we're performing this on small structures.
I take pride in being part of a team that got him to his transplant, and then after that, getting him home.
One would be hard-pressed to find a system where there is such uniform excellence in so many areas, whether it's cardiac transplantation surgery, cardiac transplantation medical care, social work care, nursing care, physician assistant care, cardiac catheterization care, non-invasive imaging. These are all of the types of things that a system as large and as powerful as Mount Sinai can provide for a small infant and for a family.
We bring our care, we bring our heart, we bring our passion.
Children like Jason, they have the potential to live an incredibly long time. As pediatricians, we follow children from birth through young adulthood, and he's going to know me his whole life. So I will forever be a part of his life. The whole idea for us as pediatricians is to give him a new heart, is to try to not limit him. We can be that background cheerleader or that background reinforcement.
This is a continued lifelong journey. We're not exactly sure what the future is going to look like, but we have this team. We still have this family.
So I just wanted to show what the family gave me as a token of their gratitude and appreciation. And it reads, Dr. Raghav Murthy, thank you for saving my life with your compassion and extraordinary dedication to getting me my heart. It sits on my office table. I smile at it every morning when I look at it. It just reminds me of what a difficult journey they had, but what a beautiful ending it all had.
So much has transpired from what I was at that moment to where I am today. I never thought that I was going to lose my life or that something could happen to me. My mother lived to 99, so without any ailments, I just never thought of it. My collapse happened on May 1, which is 4 days before my birthday.
He was brought to Mount Sinai Hospital where scans showed he had an abscess in his brain, and he was given antibiotics, which is usually enough to treat brain abscess. Unfortunately, the abscess began to enlarge despite the treatment.
The clock was ticking. There was a rapid decline, and we needed to get him to the operating room quickly because every moment that passed was brain activity and brain tissue that we might not get back.
As they were rolling me in to surgery, I said, if I can't come out of this, that I can dance with my daughter on my next birthday, I don't want to come out. And I remember him saying, you're going to dance.
Of concern was the depth, which was located beneath a very important draining vein in the midline of the head, way up top. And if those veins are injured, that can cause a stroke. So using our navigation software and hardware, we were able to precisely localize an opening, a trajectory through the brain, and a pathway into the abscess that was safe.
It's almost 2 years. As I accept this myself, I start to realize, how did they come up with the skill? How did they come up with the knowledge? How did they do anything?
There are so many ways in which we push boundaries in Mount Sinai in neurosurgery. One of the things that is now in almost daily use is the concept of augmented and virtual reality with microscope integration and heads-up display. This is something that we've pioneered at Mount Sinai in neurosurgery, allowing us to tackle the most complicated cases. Virtual reality scenarios that are created by combining multiple of David's scans do allow us to create a 3D virtual reality environment that shows all of the structures of David's scalp. We bring the 3D virtual visualization of David's brain directly into the surgeon's eyesight, eyepieces, or video screen. We're making strides now that we wouldn't have thought possible even 5 to 10 years ago.
That Dr. Bedison and his staff could do what they did in my head and give me back everything.
2, 3.
then it became up to me.
Go for it.
That's where the toughness came in. I had to learn how to crawl and to walk again.
His prognosis is excellent. There should be no ill effects on the rest of his life, as if it never happened.
Last year, my first trip out of New York since the COVID and the event, I went to Carmel to visit my daughter, and on my birthday we danced right on the street. You know, it was amazing, just an amazing thing. Tears were coming down my eyes because life was worthwhile.
Hello everyone, my name is Benjamin Thomas. I am a COVID-19 survivor. Over 100 days I went through very rough time, 54 days on the ventilator, over 6 weeks on coma, lost over 50 pounds. It was a very rough journey.
When the pandemic started in the spring of 2020, everybody was reaching out to try to find help for their loved one. Pastor Thomas lives in Long Island and he pastors a church in Queens, and his nephew is married to my childhood friend that I grew up with in Toronto. He was admitted to a hospital in Long Island and was going in the wrong direction, and the family was losing hope and the hospital was losing hope on his case. And that's when they were trying to reach out to me to see if I could help in any way. The doctors told me, if we don't take Pastor Thomas this weekend, he's gonna die here. And that was a sign to me that I had to act. Word spread that he was at Mount Sinai Hospital. People started to contact me. They just started to tell me some of the things he had done for people and his nature and his heart. It was a real pastor's heart.
Mount Sinai did not give up on me.
As you hear those stories, it just gives you more drive and determination to get him through this. And as we found out that his daughter is soon to graduate, that's all I could think about.
My family suffered more than I did. We have one daughter, after 14 years of marriage, is a miracle child.
In the Indian community, education is really valued highly. And I kept telling the team, we got to get him to the graduation. We took care of him as best as we could, and he was quite sick for weeks. Even our team members and myself sometimes could not see the light at the end of the tunnel for him. And as we were rounding on him on a daily basis, I could feel the sense from my team that they were feeling my pain.
He lives in Connecticut, about an hour, 45 to 1 hour distance away from Mount Sinai. So this team called him and told him there's no hope. He came 10 o'clock at night from Connecticut all the way to Mount Sinai, stood by my bed.
Being a man of faith myself, having very little hope left in me, I had just said a prayer and told God that I got to put it into His hands. But at Mount Sinai, we don't give up. We fight till the end. As I was praying in the room, I just started thinking of his case more and more, and what could I do? I started to really just look at his case and go through the chart over and over again. I came up with a few different ideas, and we started to mobilize those over the next few days. Over the next week, we started to see some slow improvement in him. I remember going in that morning saying, I'm going to try him off the ventilator to see if he'll breathe on his own. When I saw that his oxygen levels didn't fall, I just felt this joy in my heart that we could possibly win this battle. He woke up.
I didn't miss anything.
I think it was a miracle. I think God uses people sometimes to fulfill His miracles.
They called me in Mount Sinai Miracle Pastor. Put your hand together, give glory to God. I'm back to full-time ministry, back to full-time pastor. But you prayed. I'm here. Helping people, helping the community. I am standing here to preach. When I look back to my life, yes, I have limitation from 2 years from now. But now when I look at what happened to my life, the way I responded helped the congregation and the community not to give up at the time, during the pandemic or any other tragedies of their life.
I think that he gave me some insight in our team, some wisdom, gave us hope.
I wish there was more doctors like that, not giving up, fighting for their patients. That is a commitment that will help the people like us. He did everything he could. He tried everything. You are more than just a doctor.
The miracle is that he walked out of the hospital. That's the miracle. And that he got to go to his daughter's graduation. And that was the goal, and we achieved it as a team.
See her walking on the stage to receiving that diploma. Then I looked, wow, I'm here. I taught her how to drive after that.
We lost a lot of patients during the pandemic, but this is one that we saved and changed a family.
The three pillars of the Mount Sinai Health System are strong and sturdy. We provide outstanding patient care, we generate brilliant research, and we offer superb education for the next generation of physicians and scientists. But we can't and won't stand still. To maintain Mount Sinai's high quality and sustain its extraordinary work, we need to invest. We need to keep recruiting great scientists and clinicians. We need to expand and modernize our infrastructure, and we need to continually improve the quality of the healthcare we offer. This is why your support is so important. Your support will allow Mount Sinai to continue to excel as one of the nation's top academic medical centers, and will help members of our communities live healthier and longer lives. Thanks for all you do to make us better.
I am filled with pride of our amazing Mount Sinai team for their dedication, ingenuity, and skill, for their innovative research and cutting-edge clinical care that has saved and helped so many patients, especially through these past 2 challenging years. Our patients and their families have been brave, particularly those whose stories we've just seen, and I want to thank them for putting their faith in Mount Sinai. There is good reason Mount Sinai is now recognized as one of the nation's very top academic medical centers. As a Mount Sinai supporter, you deserve to have great pride in our achievements, because giving to Mount Sinai means you are helping to save lives, you are helping to drive important advances in science and medicine. Your donations make it possible for Mount Sinai to find a way.
As a proud member of the leadership team, I want to thank you very much for your support. Mount Sinai's groundbreaking research and outstanding clinical care could not be possible without your philanthropy and continued commitment. Your partnership and ongoing support of our clinical mission is truly inspirational. We continue to feel hopeful that we will be back under our tents in Central Park for the Crystal Party next May. We very much hope to see you then, and thank you in person. Again, thank you very much for helping Mount Sinai find a way.